Hey y'all, Liz at Zest here with our penultimate episode of our 2025 Holiday Readiness series, all about helping brands get the most from their gifting channels this holiday season. So hopefully want to keep it a little short and simple this week with something that's overlooked kind of a lot. We talked about it a little bit in the first episode, the very first video of this holiday series this year, posted weeks ago, where it showcased different brands' landing pages and how they were talking about gifting. And you might have noticed that we did focus a little bit on the FAQ, frequently asked questions. So I have a few examples today of brands that I think are doing frequently asked questions sections or pages really well. Drum up a little inspiration for you this holiday season. And let's just get started here with Conscious Step. Conscious Step is a new brand with Zest this year. We're super excited about this partnership, and I think they're doing a really great job with a lot of parts of their gifting channel, but their FAQ page is one that I am particularly impressed with. So if you come down to their footer and navigate to their FAQ section, I love that they're starting with gifting. Now that might seem a little weird. Why are they starting with gifting? I think this is a really good case for putting gifting at the top of your FAQ because, especially like I said, Conscious Step is a new partner with Zest this year. So the gifting experience is going to be a relatively new experience with their customers, and recognizing that their customers might have more questions than usual about like what's going on, how do they gift, what's this new experience, they put it right at the top, really easy to find for their shoppers. So you'll see gifting right up here, and right below it is a dedicated corporate gifting section. So that really delineates between like, are you just a consumer shopping for a few friends, or are you a corporate gifter client here? And here's how you can handle that. Something that's new specifically with the Zest experience is the idea of an e-gift. So it's different than a gift card where it's just a digital amount of money sent to someone where they can spend with Conscious Step. But e-gift is where that recipient, as you know, that recipient is getting a like digital unwrapping experience where they can see their gift, they can swap sizes, and Conscious Step does a really good job calling all of that out here right in their answer. Make my head just a little smaller. There we go. So they answer some basics like, what's an e-gift? What is my recipient going to get when I send them an e-gift? Does the recipient see their gift? Do they need a smartphone? Am I sending to my grandparents? Maybe they don't have a smartphone. Am I sending to a kid? I don't know. Maybe they don't have a smartphone. These are really good questions that Conscious Step has thought of. And the same with their corporate gifting section here. A big one that we see a lot of is, do you offer shipping to multiple addresses? Yes, and I love that they include a CTA here that sends people to their corporate gifting landing page so that they can see all of their options and really get pointed in the right direction. So this FAQ page, love that it starts off with gifting, and I think they're really killing it with this FAQ. Similarly, Brightland olive oil also has a dedicated FAQ page right down here in their footer. And similar to Conscious Step, they have broken out their FAQs into a bunch of different sections, make it really easy for that shopper who wants to know answers right now, pointing them in the right direction, where to go. And here's a whole gifting FAQ section front and center. So they drop down here and they get to know all this information about gifting. And again, do we offer corporate gifting? Yes, they do. Here's a link that goes to their corporate gifting page. Points out a little bit of what they offer right in the answer. So multi-recipient ordering, bulk ordering, really customized stuff, things like that. And with a really easy, clickable CTA right here that sends people in the right place. But I love that they call out gifting specifically. And as gifting becomes more and more normal online shopping experience, we're seeing this more and more often, especially with Zest brands. Almost all of them have a gifting section in their FAQ because this is a great new experience they're offering their shoppers. Now, if you don't have an entirely dedicated FAQ page, maybe you just have a couple FAQs on your product pages, things like that. Here are a couple examples that show you a little lighter lift of what to do. So here we are on Graeter's website. This is their corporate gifting landing page. And they talk about their different options, all of that, really great. And then at the bottom specifically of their corporate gifting landing page is where they have their FAQs directly about corporate gifting. So again, a really great way to lay out any possible questions someone might have about their corporate gifting process. Little CTAs driving people to a quick guide they have about their gifting portal. And I love that. What if I don't know my recipient's shipping address, as you saw with Conscious Step, where they called e-gifting out specifically. Graeter's is framing it in a little bit of a different way. Instead of saying, what is an e-gift? Someone might not even know what an e-gift is, but they might be asking this question of like, I don't know my recipient's shipping address. What do I do? And so they're calling that out directly and introducing the term e-gift, introducing that idea of here's an e-gift where the recipient enters their own address. So no worries. You don't need to know that information at all. Some great information about the gift message, how they can write a different message for everyone, personalize it for each one. It's really teeing up the experience that their shoppers can expect should they choose the self-service corporate gifting portal with Graeter's. And I love that. And then last but not least, here I have Farmer Grade, similar to Graeter's that we just saw. This is also their corporate and group gifting landing page. And way down at the bottom here, they have a really short and sweet FAQ section. So I picked this example because this is a really good example of how you don't need an entire landing page that you have to build before the holidays. You don't need to build out a massive section at the bottom of your corporate gifting page or different product pages and stuff like that. You can keep it really short and sweet and answer some of your questions that you're seeing most with your customer support team right now. So easy things like, can I add that gift message? Yes, you can. That's a huge one. People want to be able to personalize their gifts with just a little message, telling people exactly where that gift message is printed, what their recipients can expect to see. And that's really what we hear a lot of from gifters are, what is my recipient going to see? Are they going to see the price? Are they going to see the product? Are they going to see my gift message? How is it printed? They want to know that that experience is going to be really great for their recipients. And so even simple questions like this helps alleviate a lot of those pain points, a lot of those questions, and answers them pretty directly. Talking about discounts, are they going to have discounts in their corporate gifting storefront? How do those apply? And then that post-purchase experience where there is a lot of hesitation of how can people know that their recipients are getting their gifts, that they've been delivered, and they want that peace of mind that happens after the purchase, especially after such a high dollar, high value order. They want to know everything is going ship-shape right after they hit checkout. So now that we saw a few examples of FAQ pages and FAQ sections, here's a little bit more about why that is so important, especially in this context. Okay, so if you are on the fence this holiday season about, do I really need to squeeze in an FAQ page or an FAQ section on my corporate gifting pages, anything like that? Should I dedicate time to that? Let me convince you that it is worth the few hours of time this holiday season still. So first of all, like any frequently asked questions page, you're going to start building trust with your shoppers. You're showing them that this is a thoughtful process. This is a thoughtful experience. We're here to help you. So you're building that trust right off the bat. Even if a shopper just sees that this section exists, they're going to feel like, okay, I trust them. I'm feeling a little bit better about making this purchase. Second of all, you're going to be improving your customer experience overall. If a customer does have a question about the consumer gifting process or the corporate gifting process or a bulk gifting process, anything like that, they aren't going to have to endure any friction reaching out to y'all and waiting for answers. They can just find it themselves. This really gives your shoppers a self-service way to support themselves. And this is especially important right now, this time of the year, when your support team is probably fielding questions left and right. They don't want to also be fielding questions like, where does the gift message show up? This is something that can be self-serviced, easy enough to put in the FAQ section, and customers can really help themselves and speed up the process and get to the checkout sooner. As we saw in a couple of these FAQ pages as well, that these pages and these answers can really point people in the right direction. Again, taking the burden off of your support team, but also helping shoppers get to where they want to go. It's asking the questions that are in their head, that they have on their mind, and they can really guide themselves to the exact right place on your website instead of increasing that friction where they're just like clicking around, wondering, where do I go? How do I get to where I want to make this purchase? What's the right path for me? Slipping those CTAs into the answers in your FAQ section can really alleviate a lot of those pain points, confusion when people are navigating your website. And lastly, you're going to be reducing some big time anxiety, especially in this context. You may not have had an FAQ page for your typical D2C experience because that is so normal. It's so commonplace right now. People shopping online for themselves, that is such a typical daily experience for a lot of people. But in this context right here, where these are gifts going to often more than one person, so these are going to be like high cost orders, high value orders where people pause a bit more before going through the checkout, hitting pay on something that could be costing thousands of dollars or even tens of thousands of dollars. And then you have that coupled with the fact that this is probably a new shopping experience. A self-service corporate gifting storefront, for example, that's going to be most likely a new shopping experience for your corporate gifter. So you take that new experience where they're not quite sure, am I doing it right? This is brand new. I've never done this before, coupled with that high cost order. And you want to do everything in your power to let them know that, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is the process. This is what's happening when you purchase. Here's how your customizations show up. Here's how your gift cards show up. Here's how you can track this and make sure that people are getting their gifts after the fact. Since you don't have someone holding your hand the whole way, and this is a self-service experience, you are definitely going to want to answer those questions and reduce those anxieties, reduce that hesitation with your gifters. So those are all the arguments I have for an FAQ page, and at the very least, a couple FAQs at the bottom of your corporate gifting page or at the bottom of a product page where you do offer gifting in that consumer experience. So with that, I'll see you next week with our final installment of the Holiday Readiness series. See ya.